Hello, everybody, and welcome to day one of my 2-day masterclass on how I stopped binge eating after 10 years. I am so incredibly excited about this masterclass. I have so much to say. I have a lot to share, and many of you guys know I struggled with binge eating for 10 years, hence the title of this masterclass. And just a few years ago, I felt broken. I felt like nobody understood me. I felt crazy around food. I was embarrassed. And at the time that I was binge eating, I had great relationships. I had a great family. I was dating my boyfriend at the time. Now he's my husband. I owned my own business. Like, life was good. But that's what also made me so frustrated and so embarrassed that this other area of my life, like, I struggled with. Like, so many other areas of my life were good. Everything was, relationship was good, career was good, family life was good. And then this one area of the binge eating, I felt like I had no control over. And the fact that I'm here today, just like sharing how I've been able to stop my binge eating, it feels like a dream because I remember being in that place where I did not see a way out. And I just so badly wanted somebody to see me, to understand me. So my hope for you guys today is to feel seen, to feel understood, to feel less alone, and then you go take action. Because this is not just a masterclass where you just watch and listen and learn. Like, I'm of course going to share with you guys how I stopped binge eating, but I want you guys to take actions that you can get here as well too. Okay. So before I dive in to all the golden nuggets, a few things. Okay. So number one, today is day one of the free masterclass. So today is day one and tomorrow is day two. Both of these days, day one and day two, I'm sharing with you how I stopped binge eating after 10 years. Okay. It's going to be incredible. You guys are going to be, it's just going to be amazing. Now, if you want to take it up a notch and join me for a VIP experience, day 3 and day 4 is VIP. So on day 3, I'm going to share with you how I've been able to maintain a binge-free life for 3 years, because it's one thing, you guys, to be able to stop your binge eating. Like, that is incredible. But it's something really incredible to be able to maintain a binge-free life. And I've been able to do that for 3 years. So on day 3 of the VIP, I'm going to share how I've maintained a binge-free life for 3 years. And then day 4 is going to be personalized coaching. So you actually get to submit your questions, you get to ask your questions, and then I will personally give you custom feedback, a step-by-step game plan. Like, it's going to be so much fun. So I know many of you guys have joined the VIP, but if you haven't, I'm actually going to just drop it down below. You guys can still join. It's $33 if you want to upgrade. Obviously, you don't have to. You can just do day 1 and day 2. But for those of you guys who want to take things to the next level and join me for a VIP experience, it's going to be pretty incredible. You also don't have to attend live. So even if you can't come live, but you're like, I want to know, how you've been able to stop, how you've been able to maintain a binge-free life for 3 years. Like, I want to know your habits. I want to know your non-negotiables. I want to know how you've been able to not revert back to old habits. And you want some personalized coaching, you can still join even if you don't come live. Okay. Now, the other thing before I want to dive in, I want to do a giveaway, because why not? Like, I want to have so much fun for you guys. Like, this is literally going to be so incredible. So there's a few options of how you can enter this giveaway. And if you're excited for the giveaway, give me some hearts, give me some, like, I don't know, some balloons, or I don't know what emojis like excite you. So to enter this giveaway, you can either, number one, take a photo of me right now, or take a screenshot or a video while you're watching me. Even if you're on the replay, you can just screenshot your phone, you can take a photo, whatever, and share to your Instagram stories and tag me. Okay, that's simple. Just take a photo of me, make sure I look nice, or a video, and you can just post it on your Instagram stories and tag me on my Instagram, Lorna_binge eating coach. Or you can share any of my Instagram posts that resonate with you on your story. So if you go on my Instagram and you read through, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, whatever, you can share it to your stories and just tag me, and you get a ballot for each one. So if you do both, you'll get 2 ballots. If you do one, you'll get 1, and I will be choosing one person tomorrow. This winner is going to get, I was gonna say $111 credit, but I'm bumping it up. $200 towards any of my programs. So I'm so excited. $200, I decided that just right now because I feel like that's juicy. That's really good. So I will choose the winner tomorrow. Do you need to have a public profile to enter? No. As long as I get the tag, because if you don't tag me, I won't be able to see your ballot. So just tag me, okay? So I will choose the winner tomorrow. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay. And you can also do this tomorrow as well too, because I will be choosing the winner like tomorrow night, okay? All right, so I want to start off with some context. Many of you guys are new here, and if this is the first time you've ever joined me inside my masterclass, hashtag me below. Let me know if you are new here. If you're a client of mine, say hello as well too. Oh, can you smile for the screenshot? Okay, here we go. Get your phones ready. Here we go. So awkward. Oh my God, this is amazing. Okay. Watch you like get one of my eyes closed, but it doesn't matter. I don't have to look pretty. So if you are here, let me know if you are new. If you are a client of mine, also say hello. Let's see who is here. Okay, Katie, welcome. You are new. Amanda is new. Melody is here. Jessica, Patrice, one of my clients. Jen, Michaela, Robin, Amanda, Melissa, Amanda, another Robin. Wow, so many of you guys are here. New here. Rena, hello. Okay, Amanda's here. Oh my God, Patrice is like so not new. I know she's been in like my programs, my master classes. I love it. Tyra says I'm new. Jessica is new. Okay, so fun. Okay, I want you guys to keep interacting in the chat because like this is just a vibe. Like we're gonna have so much fun. Okay. Hi, Lorraine. So happy to be here. Happy that you are here as well too. So because there's so many people, I'm just going to take a few moments. I say a few moments, but it's probably going to take some time. I want to share my story because there are so many new faces here, but also the things that I'm going to share with you that I specifically did to stop my binge eating. Like you have to understand my story to understand why I did the things that I did in order to stop binge eating. Okay. Robin's like, I'm not new. No, Robin's amazing. She's already in Stop the Urge that's starting on September 21st. She's in this masterclass. She's in the VIP. Cheryl says, I'm new, been following you for a while. I haven't joined though. So many Amandas. Yes. I love it. Lisa's here. Okay. So good. Okay. So there's literally so many Amandas. I love it. So I grew up dancing, and many of you guys might have known my story, but I grew up dancing at, oh gosh, I was like so young. I did every single dance possible: jazz, tap, ballet, lyrical, musical theater, hip hop, ballet, point, acro, like all the things. And I absolutely loved it. I feel like I've always been like a performer at heart. I always loved dancing. But unfortunately, in the dance world, there's a lot of pressure to look a certain way. If you want to be front and center, if you want all the guys to lift you, like you need to be small. And I was actually called fat by one of the other dancers that I danced with when I was in grade 8. And I remember that day I got home from school. I was bawling my eyes out. I had to go to parent-teacher interview night. My mom was a teacher, so she couldn't take me. And my dad took me. And I literally, like that night, like thinking about having to go to school and maybe seeing some of my friends, I was so self-conscious. That night, I literally packed my lunch. Normally my mom would like help me pack some snacks. I packed no snacks. I think it was like celery, like vegetables, fruit. I don't even think I actually packed a lunch. My dieting history began when I was 14. I restricted myself. I barely ate. I would have plain salad, no more snacks. I used to be the friend that always had all the snacks. Like, you know, that friend that you're like, I'm so hungry. They're like, oh, here we go in my purse. Like, I have a snack for you. Like, that was literally me. And things shifted really quickly. I wouldn't eat all day. And then I would come home and I would binge because I was so scared to eat in front of people in high school. And when it was time for me to stop dancing, everyone told me that I'm going to gain weight. Like, it was just a thing. It's like, oh, this person quit dancing and oh my gosh, she put on so much weight. Oh, this person stopped dancing. Oh, did you see her? Like, she gained so much weight. And sadly, this is the fear for so many people, weight gain. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to be that person. I don't want people talking about me. I don't want to gain weight. So I joined a community center and I started working out. And I saw my mom growing up, working out before work. Like, she was a really good example to me. Like, I'm so grateful. And it really inspired me to just like work out and move my body to be healthy. But I definitely was doing it for the wrong reason because I didn't want to be called fat again. So I remember coming home from doing cardio one day, because that's literally all I did at the gym because I didn't know what the heck I was doing in the weights and stuff. And we had pizza at my house. And I'm like, ooh, like amazing. I can finally eat the pizza because I burned off so many calories at the gym doing cardio. And you know those cardio machines? I haven't been on a cardio machine in like probably like literally like 8 years or something. But it literally was like, it would say calories burnt. So I'm like, ooh, like I burned so many calories at this community center, like doing this cardio machine, like I got to eat the pizza. Such an unhealthy, toxic thought. But I didn't know. I didn't know I had a bad relationship with food. I didn't know I was over exercising or restricting myself. I just thought like, this is normal. Like you burn off calories and then you get to eat your favorite foods, right? Our stories are so similar. The dancing community started my bad relationship with food at 11. Yes, I began being self-conscious at 11 years old. Mine started at 12, 16. Yeah. So in 2013, when I was starting to go to the gym, it was, you know, I felt better, right? Like forget about like the calories. I just felt better. Like I had more energy, like my self-confidence was going up. And I heard about Beachbody. How many of you guys heard of Beachbody? So I heard of P90X was like the first workout program that I heard about. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at this transformation. They're ripped in 90 days. I'm like, I can do that. Yeah, I'm like so motivated. I'm so disciplined. Like I can definitely do that. So I'm like, okay, so here I started with P90X and I was like telling everyone in my school, like in high school, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this P90X workout. I'm going to get ripped. And like my body did not change because I was binging, but I had no idea that I was binging. And I'm like, why am I not seeing results? I'm working out every day. But long story short, I was like, okay, P90X, let's get ripped. Obviously that didn't work because I was still binging. But then I found like Insanity and I really like the Insanity. I'm like, oh, I'm getting a tough workout. Like I felt really good with Insanity. Now I think about Insanity. I'm like, my poor freaking knees. Like, I don't know how people do it. But yeah, we've all been there. Yes. So I heard about Insanity and I really enjoyed it. And I literally did it like every single day. And I literally remember on like day 60, I was like crying because like I was so proud of myself, but I was crying also because I felt like I was just punishing myself the whole time. Have you guys had that experience? Like I literally wanted to cry, tears of like happiness. Like I'm so proud of myself for sticking to something for 60 days. But also I'm crying because like I'm putting myself through hell. Like if I skipped one day of my workout, oh my God. Like I would literally be beating myself up. I would restrict my calories the next day. Like it was horrendous. Like, yes, I love the workouts. Like that's great. But I was so hard on myself. I was pushing myself. Even when I was tired, I like forced myself to work out. Like it was pretty unhealthy. Yes. I know a lot of you guys can relate to that. Anyways, I I kind of had a transformation myself. Like I really enjoyed the workout. So I'm like, I'm going to become a beach body coach. I was like 17. I don't know. Like I felt like I was like a 50-year-old in a 17-year-old body. So I'm like, I'm going to become a beach body coach. I don't even know what that is, but I'm going to become a beach body coach. So I started doing beach body coaching. And I'm like, buy the Shakeology. I felt like, salesperson. So anyways, I did the whole thing because everyone's like, just post this photo of Shakeology. And I'm like, it literally felt so like icky and weird to me, but I'm like, okay, whatever. So I became a beach body coach. And then I became a personal trainer because I'm like, I want to be like the best of the best. So I became a personal trainer. And I'm like, I know like I don't really have my food together, but like I can help people work out. Like I like working out. Like I can, I've created a transformation for myself. Like I can help other people experience a transformation. Like, okay, so I'm going to become a personal trainer. And part of me was like, if I become a personal trainer, then I'm going to have this title. So then I'm going to force myself to eat healthy because I got to look a certain way. That's not true. But like, this was what I was thinking in my mind. I'm like, oh, I got to be a personal trainer. So if I'm known as the personal trainer, then like I have to be fit. So like, I'm obviously going to get in shape. Like this was the unhealthy mindset that I had. And then after beachbody coaching, that didn't align with me anymore. Being a personal trainer, I continued to be a personal trainer. And I was like bored. I'm like, I need a new diet. I need something. So how many of you guys know of or heard of If It Fits Your Macros? Like IIFYM. Do you guys remember that in like, I don't know, 2016? I'm so bad with like remembering dates, but do you guys remember that? I was following a bunch of people and they're like, you can literally eat whatever you want as long as it fits your macros. Like, I'm not even talking about macro tracking, like if it fits your macros. And I'm like, oh, sweet. Okay, like I can eat whatever I want. Okay. And there was this one person in particular who I was following, and she was in great shape. And like, she was eating like whatever she wanted. And I'm like, oh, like, okay, like that's kind of strange. And it's kind of crazy because she actually struggled with binge eating first. And then she's like, oh, I feel so free. Like no more meal plans. Like I got to just track my macros. And I'm like, tracking macros is extremely restrictive. But at the time, I'm like, I didn't know what else to do. So I'm like, I'll give it a shot. So yeah, I tried it for a bit. First time hearing it. Okay. So if you know me, in the past, I used to be all or nothing. How many of you guys are all or nothing? Like, let's just be honest, like yes or no in the comments. There's no judgment here. I'm the first to say I literally had the biggest all or nothing mentality. I went to the store with my mother. I kid you not, I probably spent $200 on snacks. I'm like, Mom, I can literally eat whatever I want. Like, I can have whatever I want. So like, I'm going to go to the store and we're going to buy all these foods. And I bought so many things that I actually didn't even want. I'm like, I don't even think I'm going to like this, like cook like these cookies and these brownies, which I like cookies and brownies, but like, I like so many different things, you guys, because I was quote unquote allowed to eat them. But the truth was I didn't even want them. Like I bought like goldfishes and like all these other snacks. And I'm like, it just sounds fun and freeing. But then I started not even eating nutritious foods. Like I started eating like just like cookies and like whatever I bought. And I'm like, I felt like shit. I felt like shit. So I'm like, okay, this is not going to work out. Maybe you can still track macros, but like, let's not go to the store and buy like all this junk food, because of course you're going to feel like shit. Of course you're going to spiral out of control. Like, of course, right? So I started to notice from all this restriction that I was putting myself through, like I was out of control. I didn't know why. I'm like, I don't know why. Why am I binging? I don't know. Like I knew I was depriving myself, but I'm like, I don't know why I'm binging. And I started to see my body change. Like my body started to change, like putting on some weight. And I was always the type of person that wanted to lose weight. Like I always wanted to be smaller. I was always doing something to fix my body. Can you guys relate? Like literally there was never a time in my life where I just like was okay with my body. Like my body was never okay for me. It was like, no, don't like, oh, my arms, oh my God, my stomach, or you looked way fitter before, or you lost weight before. Like, I just never liked my body. So I ended up doing my very first bikini competition because I'm like, okay, if I'm held accountable with a coach and I have a set date of where I need to be ready by, well, then I'm going to be fit and I'm going to reach my goals. And at the time, I was also following a few people who did bikini competitions. And I'm like, I can do this. Like, I'm motivated. Like, I'm disciplined. Like, I got this. And I love like the hustle. Like, I loved pushing myself. Like, I loved working out, right? Like, how many of you guys like working out? Like, I love working out. Like, working out makes me feel so good. But obviously that was like extreme. But I did not like deprivation. After my competition, you guys, I felt like I was so out of control. Like I thought about food a lot before, but this was like next level. Like, when's my next meal? Like, what am I allowed to eat? I was searching on Instagram #food porn. And I'm like imagining and like dreaming of all the foods like I wish I could have. Andrew's like, oh, hell no. I love it. I love it. I love being honest, you know? Some people love it. Some people hate it. Laura, what's up, Laura? So I just thought this was normal. I'm like, I don't know, looking up food that I can eat on Instagram, like #food porn. I'm like, ooh, those pancakes look so good. I'm like, can't eat that, but that looks good. Ooh, can't eat that, but that looks good. Like, that was my life. Yeah. Dream about eating, like all these things. And I just thought, like, I don't know, doesn't everyone do that? Like, isn't this normal? Anyone else? I'm like, I don't know. And when I reached my heaviest weight, and I went back to crazy restriction, again, I don't think, you guys, from grade 8, when I was called fat, when I was 14 to about when I was 24, I do not think there was ever a time that I was not dieting, whether it was meal plans, tracking macros, like taking foods out of my diet. Like, I was always on something. And it was crazy because when I was the heaviest, I would say maybe 2017, so about dates and stuff, because half the time I was not even present because of my relationship with food. So it's really sometimes hard for me to remember dates. So I'm like, I don't know what happened when, but I ironically was controlling my food the most when I was the heaviest. I'll never forget this time that I was at the cottage with Andrew for my birthday. I packed all of my food. I tracked every single macro. I was so obsessed with working out. Like, even at the cottage, I was like, we have to work out. Like, I was so obsessed. And still to this point, I was like, I don't know why I have an unhealthy relationship with food. Like, I don't know why I'm binging. Like, I'm aware, like, yes, I have, you know, like I have awareness, but I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm just not motivated. Have you guys said that to yourself before? I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm not trying hard enough. Like, I would do these diets and I wouldn't be able to stick with them. Or after the diet, I'd feel like completely out of control with food. And I just thought, well, like, Lorna, like, get your shit together. Like, come on, like, try harder. Other people can follow it. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, this person lost 50 pounds, this person lost 20 pounds, and they're doing the same thing as you. So, like, what's wrong with you? And you hear of people eating more after dieting, like, of course, right? But a lot of what I did up until this point, you guys heard all the things that I did, like the beach body, the meal plans, like the competitions, like all these things is what impacted my binge eating. I was consumed by fitness. All I cared about was the way that I looked. And I thought I was doing this to be healthy. That was like my justification for restriction and over exercising. I'm like, I'm a healthy person. Like, I want to live a long life and I want to be healthy. And that was just like covering up this desire to constantly change my body because I never wanted to be called fat again. And so I started noticing, like, I wasn't just overeating. Like, yes, I was overeating, but you guys, I was going through these out of body experiences where it literally felt like somebody was taking over my body and like doing things with food that did not feel like me. I would hide food. I would eat when I was alone. This started in high school when I would not eat all day because I was literally so terrified to eat in front of other people. And I would literally come home and binge, like thousands of calories. Like I would come home, I'd like drop my bag off at the front door. I'd like rush in and I would just start eating, like in the cupboards, in the fridge, in the pantry, like no control. And at the time I was dating Andrew, and all of the plans revolved around me. Like, no, sorry, we can't go out for dinner. Like, oh no, we can't go here because like I don't know the macros. I remember going to the movies. I think this was like our third date, and I brought Quest bars for us. He's like so excited to get popcorn. I'm like, oh, I brought Quest bars because that's the only thing that I had left for like my macros. It was like the end of the night when we went to the movies, and I'm like, well, this is the only thing that's going to fit my macros perfectly. So I bought Quest bars to the movies. I'm like, oh my God, like I can't even believe he's still with me. Like, this is kind of embarrassing, but like I got to do what I got to do. You know what I mean? So I never wanted to go out for dinner. I never wanted to be intimate. I never wanted to go out for date night because like dinners were so stressful with my macros. I'm like, I am no mathematician, and I feel like I was spending all day in my fitness pal, like trying to calculate, okay, if I get this pasta, like, okay, what do I have to eat during the day? And then, okay, if I eat half of it, because I don't know if I'm going to want the full thing, like, whoa, too much. Like, I am not a mathematician. Like, I just want to freaking lose weight. Why am I doing math in my fitness pal? Why am I dividing how many portions divided by four? Like, what? So one day, I was like, I need to tell Andrew, my boyfriend at the time, husband now. I'm like, I need to be open with him because like my binges are getting pretty bad. Like I'm out of control. Like, and I feel bad because like, I don't want to be intimate, but like, it's not because I don't love you or like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I feel disgusting. Like I feel gross. So I recognize like I need to be open with him. So I'm actually going to share with you how this is kind of like the first golden nugget after like 30 minutes. Sorry, guys. How I opened up to him about my struggles. And by the way, have you opened up to your partner yet? Yes or no? So after university and studying kinesiology and then going to college, I studied health and fitness. I was in one of my classes and I just like, I had this knowing in my heart, like, I need to tell him, like, holy shit, I'm probably going to poo my pants. Like actually, like, I'm probably going to shit. I'm so scared. I'm so nervous. I'm so embarrassed. Like, he's going to literally think I'm crazy. Like, I don't even know what to say because anything that I say is going to be like, this person's whack. Right? Yes, no, yes, sort of. Yes. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I need to be open with him. Like, he deserves to know why I'm irritable, why I don't want to be intimate. Like, he needs to know why I don't want to go out for dinner and all the things. So I texted him. You guys, I was so nervous. I literally cannot even talk to him like face to face. I'm like, I am literally going to puke or shit my pants. Like, I don't know either one. I'm like, I'm just going to text him. So I didn't text him exactly everything. Like, oh, yeah, I eat in secret and I binge when you're not around. And like, I didn't say like specifics, but I was like, I feel really guilty about eating certain foods. I eat until my stomach hurts. Like I was sharing so that he would kind of get a picture, but I didn't want to share too much for him to be like, I don't know if I gotta leave, like this person's wacko. Like, and I know he wouldn't because obviously he's incredible. Obviously we're still together today. But I was like, I just need him to know. I don't need him to understand because I understand that if he's never gone through binge eating himself, like he's probably not going to understand. And that was like the closest thing from the truth. Like he still didn't understand, but he was happy to support me. So I just texted him and I was like, yeah, like I'm feeling guilty. Like I eat a lot and like until my stomach hurts. And I'm like, this is just kind of like the thing. And again, he was like, I don't know how to help you, but like, we're going to find you help and I'm just going to be here to support you. So that was like a huge step because this really helped me, you guys, because some people don't think it's that big of a deal, like being open to your partner. but this helped me because it's like binge eating, first of all, thrives in isolation, right? Like you feel alone, you're embarrassed, you're so ashamed, you feel disgusting in your own skin. And then now it's like, you're hiding something from somebody that you love. And like, that's really hard too, right? And then it's like, you have to try to explain like why you don't want to be intimate. And it's like, it's a lot. So and the thing is, I haven't told anyone because I feel like they wouldn't understand. And you know what? They're probably not. My partner did not understand at all, but I did it for me. I did it for me because I felt free. I literally felt like there was a weight lifted off of my shoulders. You guys know, like eating in secret, anxiety, binging, anxiety, right? Oh my God, I have to tell them that I don't want to go out for dinner, anxiety, like so many anxious things, right? And I was like, I deserve to feel free. I deserve to feel free. And if you don't have a partner, yeah, you can share with a friend, like if you want, or like somebody that you love, somebody that you trust, because it does set you free. It's like I just felt like literally I was carrying like bricks on my shoulders, and I'm like I can relax a little bit. Okay. That was a huge pivotal step in my journey. Did that stop my binge eating? No. Did he know how to help me? No. Did he give me good advice? No. Did he say things that were triggering? Yeah. But I wasn't sharing to get advice from my partner. You think your partner, who doesn't even know what binge eating is, can help you stop binge eating? No. They're probably telling you, oh, well, maybe just don't eat so much. And it's like, well, yeah, if it was that easy, like I wouldn't do, oh, just portion control. Just watch your portions. Well, yeah, you don't really understand, because when I portion things out, like that actually creates more anxiety for me, and I actually binge more. Like, we can't expect your partner to help you stop binge eating. Like, that's not what it's about. They don't have to know what it is. They don't have to give you advice. They don't, and they're going to want to try to fix you. Let me tell you, because they love you, but you're doing it not to get advice, not to get coaching from your partner. You're doing it for you. Okay. Yeah, I told a friend she didn't understand since she's never been through it. Yeah, and that's fine, but you're doing it for you. Okay. So yeah, mine says eat what you want and stop worrying about your body, right? And then it's like, sometimes it can be even more frustrating because it's like, but you don't understand. But let me say this, when you're sharing with your partner, you have to go into it with the expectation that they're probably going to say things that are going to trigger you. But like, again, you're doing it for you because you deserve that freedom in your mind. Okay. So yeah, they're probably going to say like, oh, like, I love you the way that your body looks. Like, you don't have to lose weight. And it's like, no, but you don't understand. Like, who cares if you eat cookies? Like, it's fine. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. And you're like, you don't understand. I don't just have 3 cookies. I have the whole jar. Right. So like, just understand that as well too. Okay. So after I told Andrew that I was struggling with binge eating, I started working at a gym. Great place to be. This is when I began really over exercising, fasted cardio, teaching my own fitness classes, my own workouts like yoga. I was doing so much in terms of exercising, and I was tracking macros. I actually did another bodybuilding competition because I got like addicted to see my body transform. And I'm sure you guys understand. It's like you do a diet once and you lose weight, and then you become addicted. You're like, oh, like the process of like seeing your body change. You're like, this is why people go from diet to diet to diet. Because it's like you diet, you lose weight, and then you're so deprived, and then you start binging, you put on the weight, and you're like, oh my God, I got to go back to my diet. I got to get back on track. So then you go back to the diet, you lose the weight, you feel deprived, you binge, and you're like, I hate my body. The cycle repeats itself. Right? So even if you just went on like keto or Weight Watchers or macros and you saw your body transform, it's like you become addicted to the process. It was fun seeing my body change, like, like getting results, but it was so restrictive. And at the time when I was dieting, and again, I'm sure you guys can relate, I'm like, I'm starving, but like, that's just how it's supposed to be when you're dieting. Oh, well. I'm exhausted and I feel like a zombie, but like, well, that's what you're supposed to do when you're dieting. No, that's not how you're supposed to feel. But this is how I felt. And I was trying to find an email because I remember sending one of my coaches who gave me a meal plan and these restrictive diets. I was trying to find the email because I wanted to read you guys what I literally said. But I told my coach who gave me this like restrictive plan, and I said something along the lines of like, I don't know if this is normal, but like, I can't stick to this plan. Like, I am so deprived. I feel like I'm eating nothing. Like, I'm eating like a bird. Like, is this normal? I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And I don't know if you have like any other clients, but like, I can't stick to this and I'm sorry, but like, this is so restrictive. And I'll never forget what one of my coaches said. Well, this is what you have to follow. Like, this is the diet. If you want to see results, like you have to eat like this. And a part of me was like, yes. Like, no, a part of me was like, hell no. Like, I'm literally eating like a bird. But then also a part of me was like, yeah, Lorna, you don't like your body. So maybe you just got to suck it up and deal with this restriction. Like, yeah, it's you're eating like really low calorie and you have no energy, but like, you don't like your body right now. So don't complain. So toxic. I literally want to scream just thinking about this, because this is what leads to eating problems, the restriction, these plans, these things that people give us. And it's not their fault because, well, kind of is their fault, but like, I'm not here to really blame anyone. Like, I don't want to come off that way, but I'm just saying it's like, this is literally what creates disordered eating. You have to eat this way if you want to lose weight. And I'm like, okay, let me just pass out before I lose 5 pounds. Like, that's fine. Right? So I obviously stopped working with that coach because I was literally like a zombie. And after, even the doctors do it. Yeah. So after so much restriction, tracking my macros, like I was so done with dieting. How many of you guys are done with dieting? Like, give me a yes in the comments if you're done with dieting. You're like, yes, Lorna, like goodbye. Like, I want to be done. Like, I've done this for so long, whether it's macros, keto, Weight Watchers, like you're just done. Any of you guys done? And this was so weird for me because like I said, I was dieting since I was 14. Yes, yes, yes. So done. Yes. Right? Yes. So the cap locks. Yes, it hasn't worked and I'm over it. Yes. Makes me petrified to stop tracking. Right? I want to be. Yeah. So I started to feel this pull to eat intuitively because I knew that tracking macros made me more obsessed with food and even more out of control with food. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm tracking every single macro, but I'm also binging at the end of the day. So like, kind of counterproductive. Like, there's literally no point of, tracking everything so meticulous and like, oh no, I can't have 1 extra almond, but like I can have 10 cookies. Right? Like, that was kind of like my thought process. And in 2018, I started listening to podcasts to learn more about intuitive eating. And it all sounded so good. I'm like, okay, listen to your body, eat when you're hungry. But like, you don't understand, like, I'm kind of brainwashed because I've been dieting since I was 14. Like, diet culture, like, kind of messed with my brain. So I actually don't know when I'm hungry, and I actually don't know when I'm full, and I actually don't know how to eat normally. And I try to eat intuitively because I'm like, I need to do something different, right? Like I said, I'm tracking my macros and I'm still binging. I'm tracking my macros and I'm still thinking about food 24/7. I'm tracking my macros and I feel like I'm an animal, like eating until I'm so physically sick. So I got to do something different. But I reverted to MyFitnessPal so many times. Because number 1, I was terrified to gain weight. Number 2, I felt like I was spiraling even more out of control with food because I didn't know how to eat intuitively. Even after like listening to some podcast, it was very generic. It wasn't specialized to me or specific to me. So I re-downloaded MyFitnessPal like probably 3 times. And I got to a point though where like, I was like, okay, I can either be scared. I can either be scared and like continue to feel restrictive and just binge for the rest of my life, or I can actually start taking good care of myself and not just eat foods because they fit my macros. And I'm not going to just choose like the lowest calorie option that like is literally like ruining my gut with all these like 0-calorie Walden Farms syrup. Like I'm literally like, I want to start taking better care of myself. Like I want to be able to just crave a salad. Like I want to be able to like just like wake up in the morning and decide what to eat. Like I just want to feel normal. So in 2018, I was committed to deleting my MyFitnessPal. I deleted my MyFitnessPal and I stopped weighing myself. I went cold turkey. Rena says, I just deleted my MyFitnessPal. Woo! I love it. Love it. So some people need to do things step by step, slowly track their food less, use MyFitnessPal less, weigh themselves less. But for me, I was all or nothing. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to stop weighing myself and I'm going to stop MyFitnessPal. Was it scary? Yep. Did I know if this was the right thing to do? No, but it felt right. Now, let me explain what I mean by this. It felt right in the sense of like, I know I need to prioritize my mental health over my physical health. Like I knew that. Like I knew that like over exercising, punishing myself, eating like a little bird and feeling deprived, like I knew that that was not good for my mental health. So I knew that I needed to do something different. But there was still fear, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to delete my MyFitnessPal. Like this is the easiest thing in the world. I was like also shitting my pants. FYI, on my journey to healing my relationship with food, I shit my pants many times. Not literally, but like it was scary to delete my MyFitnessPal because I did it for like 10 years. I stopped weighing myself. Was it scary? Mm-hmm. But my mindset was it's scary, but what's scarier is continuing to weigh myself until I'm 90 years old. Is it scary to delete my MyFitnessPal? Yeah, but you know what's even scarier? Living with an eating disorder. Yeah, it's scary to delete my MyFitnessPal and stop weighing myself, but you know what's scarier? Bringing a child into this world and having my struggles with food go on to my child. That is scarier to me. So I deleted the app on my phone and I just stopped weighing myself. I think I put the scale in like my parents' room or whatever. And I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes I would go and use my parents. They had like the one where it's like the pin. I had like a digital one and my mom had the one where you just like see the pin. I'm like, this is not accurate. But anyways, so but for the most part, like I cut cold turkey. This is just my experience. Like I'm just sharing my experience, right? This is all about what I did. So I was all or nothing. And for me, I was like all in with dieting, right? So I was also so all in with like working on my mental health and healing my relationship with food. I was beyond ready to get better. I was beyond ready to have a good relationship with food and stop binge eating. So when I did this, when I deleted my MyFitnessPal and I stopped weighing myself, I had some good days with food. And then I had some days where I would be straight up binging. Why? Some people are like, Lorna, I deleted my MyFitnessPal and I'm not weighing myself, but I'm still binging. And I'm like, yeah, I skipped the part where I healed my relationship with food in my body. I skipped the part where I actually got to the root of why I was binging in the first place. I also didn't work on my thoughts, right? Reprogramming my thoughts. Sure, I wasn't tracking macros in my MyFitnessPal, but I kind of was like still mentally tracking. Like you guys know when like you stop tracking, but you're like still in your head, you're like, okay, that's 20 grams of carb. Like I was still mentally kind of tracking. I was still judging myself for what I was eating. So even though I wasn't tracking macros, I had plenty of food rules. And this is very common. Like I have a lot of clients that come to me and they're like, Lorna, I'm eating intuitively and I'm still binging. And it's because there's still physical restriction and or mental restriction. You're feeling guilty. You're judging yourself, right? So I thought I was eating intuitively because I deleted my MyFitnessPal, but I just stopped dieting and deleted my fitness pal. Like, that's not intuitive eating, right? Like, that's not eating intuitively. Like, I was still out of control, right? Like, I still saw food as good versus bad. I still felt anxious going out for dinner. So sure, like, I wasn't technically tracking, but I was still restricting myself. Another golden nugget. You can't just delete my fitness pal and say you're an intuitive eater. I had no support. I was trying to navigate this on my own. I felt like a little lost puppy. And a huge reason why people go back to my fitness pal or weighing themselves and going back to dieting is because it's, number one, like a lack of support, right? Not knowing, like, okay, how to actually do it, like a step by step, but also you got results that way. So it's like, okay, well, that's the safe route. Clearly this one's not working, although it's not that it wasn't working. It's just, you didn't have a step-by-step game plan. For me, like, I felt safer. I think a lot of people feel safe going and doing the thing that got them results, right? But for me, it's like, I was so committed to this, and I'm like, even if I am like maybe feeling a little out of control, like, I know that stepping on the scale just makes me feel like shit. I know that weighing myself is making me more obsessed. So I am committed to find a way. I am committed to eating normally. I am committed to healing my relationship with food. But it was hard for me to release my food rules because at the time, I was a health and fitness coach. I was posting daily workouts, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I did give my clients macros. This was like so long ago, but it didn't last long because at the end of, or in 2018, I learned a lot about gut health. Have you guys learned a lot about gut health or inflammation, even intermittent fasting? So I started hearing about intermittent fasting, and I'm like, sweet, this isn't a diet. This is going to be so easy to follow. I can eat whatever I want as long as I don't eat before a certain time, and then as long as I stop eating at a certain time. And for me, like, I struggled with nighttime eating. So I'm like, perfect. Like, after dinner, if I just tell myself not to eat after dinner, then like, I'm just not going to eat. But this made my binges even worse, especially at night. Because number one, I would be so ravenous in the morning. I used to get up at 5 a.m. and told myself that I couldn't eat until 11 a.m. and I was like starving. So obviously not realistic. But also because I knew that I had a cutoff time, I would literally have a dinner for like 9 people. I would just binge at dinner because I'm like, hello, scarcity mindset. Like, you're not going to be able to eat after this certain time. No more snacks. The kitchen closes. So you better eat everything now. So I would have my dinner, I would have cookies, I would have brownies, and I'm like, I can't eat after 7 o'clock, but I'm like, well, yeah, no shit, I can't eat because I'm literally so full from binging. I started to learn about this intermittent fasting thing, this gut health, reducing inflammation, and it got so bad where I started fearing foods again, not because I was tracking macros, like, oh, I can't eat that because the macros, but I started fearing it because I'm like, so focused on like gut health, and oh, that's inflammatory, and oh, can't go to the restaurant again, not because I don't know what the macros are, like, I'm technically not tracking anymore, so it's more freeing, but like, they're gonna have unhealthy oils, and like, I became too focused on health that it was destroying my mental health as well too. And this is where I kind of felt conflicted because I wanted to be healthy. Health has always been a priority for me, but I really wanted to stop binge eating. And yes, you can have both before you come at me. Like, I promise you can have both, but we have to do things in the right order. It's really hard to be healthy when you're obsessing over calories, thinking about food, and stressing if you're going to binge or not. Like, that is unhealthy, right? And for me, let me know if you guys can relate with this next one. I was just managing my binges. I'm going to distract myself. I'm going to stay busy. I'm going to book yoga classes at night so that I don't even have the opportunity to binge because I'm not even in the house. But that never worked because I would literally go to a yoga class, come home, even if it was 10 o'clock, and I would still binge. I would go around the block. I'm like, I'm going to go for a walk to distract myself so I don't binge. I'd be thinking about what I was going to binge on the entire walk. I even read Brain Over Binge, and that did not help me. In fact, it actually made my binges worse. And I'm just going to be really honest here, because I started to understand that I needed to not give in to my binge urges. But how? I am literally like so uncomfortable right now. How the heck do I not binge? Like, what are some tools? I didn't learn any tools. And I'm like, I'm actually more frustrated because I was telling Andrew, I was like, babe, like I learned that like I've wired this habit into my brain, but like I feel like an idiot. I feel even more stupid because like I know that I shouldn't be giving in, but like I'm doing it. So I'm like purposely doing this to myself. And that made me more frustrated, but I'm like, I don't know what to do. And poor Andrew, he didn't know. He's like, you can text me. Like, if you want, you can just text me when you're feeling that urge. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to pull out my phone and tell you that I'm having a binge. It's like, I wouldn't want to tell anyone. I'm just going to go do it. Like, what? Right? So that didn't work. Many of you guys know my story where I went to a doctor and my doctor basically just told me I was stressed and I was depressed. And I literally went into my car and I started crying because I'm like, he can't even refer me to someone. I'm like, okay, my doctor doesn't have to understand. Like, I know he has, you know, like he probably doesn't understand, but like he can't refer me to someone. Like, he's literally telling me that I'm just stressed and I'm depressed. And yeah, everyone might be stressed, but like what I'm doing is not normal. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you again without you thinking I'm crazy. Like, I was so nervous going into that doctor's office. And he literally just brushed me off like, oh, you're just stressed. A nutritionist was like, oh, just follow this meal plan. And don't worry, you can have a cheat meal 1 time per week. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, the cheat meal is going to be a cheat day. And then I'm going to feel guilty the next day. And I'm not going to be able to follow the meal plan. And then, so that wasn't helpful. And then I went to therapy. And that lasted 3 sessions because I didn't feel understood. I had good relationships. I didn't have a crazy traumatic childhood, and we're all different, but I'm just, again, sharing what helped me. But my therapist was like, well, how are your relationships and how's your childhood? And I'm like, think those were fine. But like, can you tell me like what to do when I'm feeling the urge to binge? Because like, that's what I'm struggling with. And I didn't get any tools, right? And again, I'm just sharing my experience. Like, I'm not saying that this might be your experience. I'm literally just sharing my experience. So at this point, I felt even more broken because I'm like, okay, my doctor doesn't understand me. A nutritionist thinks that like I can just be more flexible with the meal plan. And I'm like, that actually makes me like binge more. And then my therapist, like, I didn't feel understood and there was no like tool. So I would go home and I'm like, I still don't know why I'm binging. Like, I don't even know what to do the next time I binge, except like maybe try to distract myself, but I always just give in anyways. So I'm like, okay. I deleted my fitness pal. I stopped weighing myself. I went to therapy. I tried my doctor. I went to a nutritionist and I'm like, okay, it's December 2018. I had glimpses of freedom because I was allowing myself to eat what I wanted more freely. But I still was thinking about food a lot. Like, even if I would allow myself to have, I don't know, some pizza or like a burger or like whatever it was, it's like I would allow myself. So like that was a stepping stone, but I still felt really guilty and I was still binging. So 2019 rolls around. And again, I wasn't using my fitness pal. I wasn't weighing myself, but I was still binging. And we all know why. Again, number 1, I wasn't actually eating intuitively, even though I deleted my fitness pal. 2, I was still doing intermittent fasting. 3, I was still subconsciously having these food rules. And 4, I was just managing my binge urges. I didn't get rid of my binge urges. I was managing them through distracting myself and staying busy and trying to fight the urge to not give in. So because of this, my urges and my binges became worse and worse and worse. And I used to be able to distract myself. Maybe you guys can relate. Like I used to be able to distract myself and stay busy, but January of 2019, it felt impossible. No matter what I did, no matter what I said, like I had no choice but to give in. And I was following this coach online who went through binge eating herself. And she used to be a health and fitness coach. She used to do like, tons of diets, and she actually did bodybuilding competitions. She tracked macros, and I really resonated with her. And obviously she came out on the other side. So I felt understood by her. Side note, I actually used to be triggered by her because when I was so into health and fitness, I'm like, yeah. Who needs to heal their relationship with food? Like you go and do your own thing over there about telling people that they got to work on their relationship with food. I'm going to be over here, like working on my body goals and like whatever, changing my body. Anyways, January of 2019, I reached out to a coach. I slid in her DMs. I'm actually going to read, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull up what I actually said to her to share how I reached out to a coach, because I think this can also be helpful. Okay, so I said, hello, my name is Lorna. Hello, my name is Lorna. I've been following you for quite some time now. I've been a dieter my whole life and dealt with binging my whole life basically as well. I no longer track calories and macros, and I haven't for a while now. And at some point, I feel like I have balance, but I really don't. It's kind of contradicting because I know so much about health and fitness, gut health, inflammation, hormones, etc. And I teach my clients to find balance because remember, I was a health and fitness coach, but I'm struggling. It's truly affecting my business, my relationships, my mood, everything. I'm sure you hear this all the time. I guess because I'm so knowledgeable when it comes to health and fitness, I'm still hard on myself, but I can't be when I'm trying to recover from binge eating. It's a difficult situation. These past couple of days have been horrible with binging, and it truly upsets me that my life is getting impacted by this, and it has been for many years. But it's become more and more apparent. So it's become more and more apparent. So that's what I sent. And she responded about her program, like how she can help me, and I ghosted her. It was 6 days, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just not going to respond. Because I had these thoughts after like sending an SOS message to this person that I knew can help me, that like literally gone through everything that I'd gone through. Like I know she understood me. I had the thoughts of maybe I can do this on my own. I'm sure I can figure it out. Maybe my situation isn't that bad. Because December of 2018, like I said, I was allowing myself to eat more foods, and like, yeah, I was kind of like maybe feeling a little bit less guilty, like, but in those 6 days, I'm pretty sure I binged every single day. And I knew that I couldn't do it on my own because I tried for so many years, right? I tried for so many years. So I responded and I paid in full. I joined her program. It was like group coaching, VIP, one-on-one. Like I was like, let's freaking go. Like I'm all in. That's me since we talked last week. It's okay. I get it, right? But the difference is it's like I still took action, right? And this is what I want all of you guys to do as well too. Like, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to like maybe ghost someone, because of course it's like, maybe I can do this on my own, or like, maybe I don't need help, right? So I was like, no, let's freaking go. So I joined her program. Now, once I was inside, I didn't think I was restricting because I was eating intuitively, quotation, but I was still boxed in. And yes, I was allowing myself like different foods, but I was still limited to like the food that I was allowing myself to have. Does that make sense? It's like, I wasn't having just plain chicken and plain broccoli. Like I had more variety, but it was still within my safe zone. And also I was mentally restricting. So one of the first things that I worked on with my coach was adding in some of these different foods, even oats, you guys. I was terrified because for a long time, again, learning so much about inflammation and bread and like gluten and dairy, all these things, I'm like, I was so scared to like eat these foods. So when I introduced these foods into my diet, I didn't necessarily have them like every single day. Like I wasn't purposely like forcing myself to have these foods, because then I would feel like shit. And I think this is a mistake that a lot of people make. It's like, oh, I'm allowing myself all my trigger foods, but I feel like crap. And it's like, well, yeah, if you do it all at once and you're just forcing yourself to have brownies every single day, then you're probably not going to feel good. So for me, it's like, I allowed myself to have them when I was craving it. So if I craved a cookie, I would have a cookie. If I wanted a bowl of oatmeal, I would have it. And I would say to myself, like, I am safe to eat this food. Like, healing my relationship with food is most important. It's the most important thing to focus on, because I can still focus on my health, but what's not healthy is stressing about the fact that, should I have a bowl of oatmeal today? Should I have a cookie? Like, that's actually even more unhealthy. And I had that like light bulb moment, and I'm like, the most important thing is my relationship with food. So I'm going to eat this cookie, or I'm going to have the oats, or I'm going to have the bread, or I'm going to have the almond butter or the peanut butter, whatever. And I'm not going to feel guilty about it, but I'm not going to force myself to eat those foods if I don't want them. But I'm going to, if I'm craving it, I'm going to allow myself to have it. I ate oatmeal Friday for the first time in a year, and I love oatmeal. Yes, oatmeal is so good, and there's so many different ways to like cook it. Like this morning, I had oats with I made my waffles. You guys know I love my waffles. And I make like just put oats with my waffles. Like that's how I make them, and it's like it's so good. It's so freeing, right? So another golden nugget to take away is I celebrated myself when I allowed myself those foods instead of shaming myself. So even if I binge that day, I celebrated because I'm like, I am so proud of myself that I allowed myself to have this food. Even if I felt guilty, I'm like, I celebrated myself, and I celebrated myself for eating these foods. I'm like, I'm so proud of myself. Right? So that was really important. I allowed myself to have these foods. I reminded myself like I was safe to eat these foods. Like, healing my relationship with food is the most important thing. Like, I am going to allow myself to have these foods. How do I know I really crave a food and it's not a binge urge? It's how you feel. So binge urges, it's like, I need to give in right away. Like, I am out of control. I need to give in right away. And a craving is like, ooh, like that cookie would be good. It's like, you're more calm. You're not like, I need to give in right away, but you're like, oh, that sounds good. It's in the feeling. It's in the feeling. I'm going to be talking more about this inside my program, Stop the Urge, and I'll talk more about that tomorrow. But yeah, it's the feeling, okay? Now, I needed to prioritize my relationship with food over health trends, over intermittent fasting, over only whole foods, because that was holding me back. Let me say that again. I needed to prioritize my relationship with food over health trends like intermittent fasting or only whole foods, because that was holding me back. Yes, there are plenty of benefits to intermittent fasting, but it's not for somebody with disordered eating. It's not for somebody with binge eating. And that was a challenge for me because I was scared to have food freedom because I didn't want to eat junk all day. Right? It's like, I knew all these things about gut health and processed foods and inflammation, and I'm like, oh my gosh, right? But I realized that food freedom is not eating junk all day. And my relationship with food needs to be the main focus, because if not, I was going to see food as good versus bad. I would still be binging, and there is nothing worse for you than your health and your inflammation and your metabolism and your gut health than restricting and binging. Like, that's the most unhealthiest thing for your body, physically and mentally. So this was a huge realization. I'm like, if I want to be healthy, I actually got to heal my relationship with food, because this is the most unhealthy thing, like binging and then restricting and feeling guilty and then counting macros. Like, that is unhealthy. Nothing stresses out the gut more than like, I had a cookie. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Like, literally, like, your brain, you guys, does not know the difference between like a true fear thought and like a fake fear thought. You know what I mean? And it's like, this person's under stress. This is why so many people struggle with, side note, this is why a lot of people struggle with binge eating, also go through gut health issues and like other digestive issues, because there's just so much stress. So I stopped intermittent fasting, and I stopped focusing so much on gut health, and I focused solely on my relationship with food. Now that I'm binge free, I can focus on like so many other things, but in the moment of binging, I needed to, yes, IBS, I needed to focus on my relationship with food. Yes, you can watch the replay after. Yeah. So I realized, like, you can still be healthy and have a good relationship with food. Like I wasn't the type of person that just like ate brownies and chocolate all day. Like that's, to me, like that's not a good relationship with food, where it's like you're out of control, just like eating all these foods. It's like I wanted to get to a point where it's like if I wanted a cookie, I would be able to have a cookie. If I wanted a salad, I'd be able to have it. I wanted freedom of choice. I wanted freedom, flexibility, peace of mind. I didn't want to be thinking about food 24/7. Right? But I needed to allow myself to have a variety of foods and not be boxed into like, okay, you can have chocolate, but like only one little piece, or like, because for me, like I said, I thought I was not restricting, but I was, because I'm like only 1 tablespoon of almond butter, only 15 almonds, right? So if we have a lot of weight to lose and you need that guidance, so the thing is, if you need to lose weight, you still got to heal your relationship with food. Just because you need to lose weight doesn't mean you don't heal your relationship with food, because here's the thing. I always say this. If you need to lose weight, let's say 10 pounds, 20, 30, 40, 50, and you're binging every single day, right? So, okay, such good questions. So I'm going to talk through this. And I still have a lot, so I really want to get to this, but I'll answer this quickly. So if you have a lot of weight to lose, or 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, doesn't really matter, but you're binging every single day, you're stressing about what you're eating every single day, there's self-sabotage going on, you're overeating at most meals, you can't control yourself with cookies, like that's not going to help with the weight. But most people think, but I can't heal my relationship with food because I got to lose weight. But if you're trying to diet and restrict yourself, that's actually what's causing you to binge and potentially put the weight on. So when you heal your relationship with food and you can control yourself, where you don't need 10 cookies, you can have 1 or 2. You can control yourself where you can naturally stop eating when you're full. It's like you're not consuming thousands of calories, right? But also we have to get to the root of why we're binging in the first place, because if we don't get to the root, then it's like we can go on the diet, we can lose the weight, but the food noise is still going to be there. You can lose the weight, but you're still going to have these urges, right? And I know you joined like Stop the Urge, happening in a week or so. So we're going to really talk about getting rid of those binge urges, because that's most important. When you get rid of those binge urges, right, you won't binge. But if you try to just lose weight and we still have binge urges, it's going to be really hard to keep the weight on. And you guys have seen this firsthand. It's like you lose the weight, but why does the weight come back on? Because we haven't actually fixed why the weight came on in the first place. We haven't actually gotten rid of those urges that is making you feel out of control with food, right? And letting go, this is the thing, you guys, healing your relationship with food is not letting go. People get this confused. I used to think this as well too. I'm like, I don't want to let myself go. Like, I don't want to let myself go. Like, I don't want to be just eating like whatever. But healing your relationship with food allows you choice. Do I want a salad or do I want a burger? It allows you choice versus being controlled by urges. You don't have a choice but to binge. So when you heal your relationship with food, it gives you not only the freedom to choose what sounds good, because you're not controlled by your binge urges, but it also allows you to reach a healthy weight because you're no longer binging. Okay. So for me, going back, it's like, I felt like I didn't have food rules, but I did. I was allowing myself almond butter, but like you can only have 1 tablespoon. Or you can have the dried mangoes, but you can only have like a few. Or you can have ice cream, but you can only have like a tiny little bit. But then I would just end up binging, because it's like that was not realistic to have like 2 dried mangoes. So it is important to not have off-limit foods, because this is what creates impulsivity, where you see food as good versus bad. Okay. And what I mean specifically about, I talked about this of like, you got to prioritize healing your relationship with food, like above anything else, right? I needed to start eating what I wanted versus like the lowest calorie option, or what's the quote unquote healthiest option, because it's like, doesn't mean you can't be healthy, but like when you focus on like, I have to eat the salad because I got to do good, then you eat the salad, you're not satisfied. And then you end up binging on chips and burgers or whatever you have. I allowed myself to eat what I was craving and not feel bad about it. I stopped weighing myself. I stopped using my Fitness Pal and I stopped intermittent fasting, I added different foods that were satisfying for me. So I could actually feel satisfied and not like finish my meal and be like, okay, let's go binge. I stopped judging myself. And I told myself, if I wanted a good relationship with food, I know things are going to feel a little backwards, but I can't expect to do what I've done when I was dieting if I want to heal my relationship with food. If what I did up until this point got me to this point of binging, I can't keep doing the things that I did to get me to this point of binging because I want to stop. So often it's like, I spent so long like dieting and doing all these things, which led me to binging. And now I want to lose weight, but like, I can't give up dieting, but it's like, that's what made you binge. So you have to do things differently. Is this making sense? How are we feeling? Yes, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you're still live with me, I know this is like, we're going on like an hour and 15 minutes. I still got so much for you more, guys, and I'm going to be here. Like, I'm giving it all to you guys. So if you're loving this, like, let me know. Give me a heart. By the way, if you've not entered the giveaway yet, you can take a screenshot of me now or take a photo and tag me on your Instagram or whatever. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I like the feedback. Still here. Okay, amazing. I'm like, is anyone still here? I'm just like talking and talking, but I told you guys I'm sharing it all. And we still got day 2 tomorrow. So there's a lot. So I needed to allow myself to eat what I wanted to eat, but I also need to prioritize satisfaction. So not what diet culture told me, like, oh, vegetables at every meal and protein at every meal and, you know, low carb or whatever. It's like, I started having what I wanted to eat. Still here, still here, still here. Heart, everything is super relatable. I love how passionate you are. Yeah, sometimes I get a little fiery, so I apologize, but like, you guys, this stuff changed my life. So I can't just not share it. Like, when I say this changed my life, I was binging for 10 years and now I'm set free. So I'm sharing you guys like what helped me. Okay. So I started having foods that actually tasted good and satisfying. We can all relate to like diet food. Like, I remember, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with cauliflower rice. Like, I actually like it sometimes, but now I have it because like, I just enjoy it for like a vegetable, not like, oh, I want rice, but like, I need to substitute it with cauliflower rice and then it tastes like shit. And then you're unsatisfied and then you go binge on the rice anyways. Right. So like dates with almond butter and banana, like that was something that's so satisfying. I would never in a million years allow myself to have that unless I was binging. Like, if I was binging, then I would have like almond butter and chocolate and banana or brownies or whatever it was. But like, if I wasn't binging, I wouldn't allow myself those foods. And isn't that funny? It's like when we binge, or at least when I binge, I would like go and go into my parents' cupboard when I lived with my family. This was like years ago. And I would go get the processed crackers and I would get like the chocolate and like whatever my mom made that I couldn't like track my macros in. Cause I was like, take advantage. Like, you're binging. So like, what are all the foods that you normally don't have? Like, take advantage. And then it's like, when I wasn't binging, it was like, no, I can't eat that food, even though I really want it. But it's like, then I would be fine binging on it. And it was like, so crazy. So I made sure my meals were really satisfying. Sometimes I would have a muffin with my meal, or I would have some chocolate with my meal. And the thing was, I felt satisfied and I didn't feel the need to binge. Even my salads, I used to eat them plain because gotta watch the calories. And then I started adding like pistachios and dried figs. By the way, if you guys have not had a salad with pistachios and dried figs, like, so good. Even like a cut up apple, like you can throw so many things in a salad. Diet culture does not own salads, okay? Like, diet culture is not salads. It's not. It's diet culture if you're like, I can't eat anything but lettuce. That's diet culture. But like, I threw so many things in my salad and I stopped focusing on calories and I started focusing on satisfaction. And as a result, I had less binges because I was so satisfied and had the need. I was check mark, satisfied, check mark, satisfied. Yes, chicken breast versus chicken thighs. Yes. Oh, Lorraine, you're so sweet. Jen, thank you. So was this scary? Because I felt like I was eating more. And this is something that a lot of my clients tell me as well too. Like, they're like, well, I'm not just having my meals, but now I feel like I'm eating more. But I said, the truth is you're not. You're preventing a binge. When you eat, let's say, plain chicken, broccoli, and rice, and you're craving something sweet, or you're even wanting, let's say, pasta, right? But you're like, I shouldn't have it because #dieting, and you feel deprived, then that leads you to feel impulsive, and that makes you think about the chocolate or the pasta, and then you're so deprived, and then you binge on thousands of calories, compared to allowing yourself to have, whatever it is that you want, a delicious bowl of pasta for dinner, or allow yourself some yummy chocolate. It's like, oh, I hit the spot. That was so good. Like, I feel so satisfied. And then you're less impulsive. You're not salivating over what you wish you would have had in the first place. Right? Something else I did was I actually started packing some sweets in my lunch bag. So in 2018, Andrew and I opened up a fitness studio, and I had to pack my lunch because I would literally be there from like 5 a.m. with clients until like the end of the night. And I would only pack like quote unquote healthy meals. But then I would come home and binge. There would be no way I would ever pack like chocolate. There was no way that I would ever pack like a cookie. Like, not even a single chance would I ever be packing like chocolate or cookies. But a golden nugget, I packed a variety of different foods, even meals, so I could choose from, because I didn't know what I was going to feel like. So sometimes I would pack almond butter chocolate bars, or cookies, or chocolate, or different meals, because when I only ate quote unquote healthy, I would come home and then I would just binge on the foods that I really wanted to have. So I'm like, okay, if I'm literally trying to do so good all day, and then what ends up happening, it's like at the end of the day, I was, binging on what I actually really wanted to have. I'm like, okay, if I just allowed myself to maybe bring some of these snacks or bring some of these foods with me to like in my lunch bag, then like I could have those foods and then not have the desire to come home and like binge on all the foods that I really wanted to have. So I needed to be okay with eating maybe some more chocolate than I normally would, because it was important for me to allow myself to eat these foods. I knew if I allowed myself to have chocolate, I eventually would be less impulsive around it because it wasn't a special food. But when I deprived myself of it, I would just binge on it at night and then literally go to bed so bloated. You guys, I would have like night sweats. Like, I'd be sweating, like I'd be like gassy, my stomach would be killing me. I would wake up the next morning and still feel bloated because I ate so much. So when I allowed myself to have more of it, right, especially like during the day and stuff like that, I allowed myself only like when I binge on it at night, it was like, can't eat it all day. So then of course at night it was like, ooh, like time to binge on all the things that I wanted. Right. So that really helped me like not see this food as good versus bad. It's like, okay, I'm allowed to have it. And you know what the ironic thing is? Like at the beginning, it's like every time I brought like a snack, so, I mean, I would usually have it, right? But then the more times I did that, I ended up like going home and I'm like, wait, like there's still a cookie in my lunchbox. Like there's still chocolate in my lunch bag. I'm like, what? But this is what happens because you're allowed to have it. I'll never forget one of my clients that I work with, she loved chocolate cake, but she would restrict on it. And then of course, binge. So I'm like, she started allowing herself to have it. And you know what she started to notice? This is what happens when you heal your relationship with food, you guys, your taste buds change. She's like, this is actually so sweet. Like I can't even have as much as I want. So then she was allowing herself to have it, but she wouldn't have like the whole thing. She would normally binge on like a whole cake. And she had less of it because she's like, this is actually like so sweet. And then after, like, she was like, I actually don't really want it. And this is what happens when you don't deprive yourself. You got to ask yourself, like, do I even like this? Do I even want this? Right? Yeah, so Terry says, I totally agree with checking in on your fullness cues during your meal, game changer. Yeah. So this is something that I also worked with my coach and things like that. It's like hunger and fullness cues. Because even when I wasn't binging, I was overeating at literally every single meal. I felt this need to like always eat past fullness because it was like a safety thing. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, I felt uncomfortable eating past fullness, but it also felt safe for me to eat past fullness because like I always ate past fullness. So like if I ate a little bit, not past fullness, it's like that didn't feel comfortable. I was like, no, I have to feel physically sick. Like it was uncomfortable, but it was comfortable. And if you guys get it, you guys get it, right? You're my people, you get it, right? So I worked on my hunger and fullness cues, and I started to be more present with my meals, like checking in before, during, and after my meals. Like, am I hungry? Is this satisfying? Yeah, so true. Yeah. So, being not in a rush. I used to say to my coach, like, I have my own business, so I'm working. So like, I don't have the time to like enjoy my meal. Like I'm always rushing. That was super bullshit. Yes, I was busy, but like everyone has time to eat. Okay, we can make the time. So I started making eating my meals like an experience versus something that I needed to just check off my list. So I started looking forward to my meals more because like I wanted to enjoy them. And guess what? There was so much more enjoyment versus this is something that I have to do. I used to rush my meals. Like I got 5 minutes, right? And yeah, if you're a hairstylist or whatever, like I can relate to this because it's like I had clients like back to back, own business. You can't just like turn off, right? And I was like rushing through my meals because I'm like, okay, got to get on to the next thing. But then what I realized was like zero satisfaction. I was thinking about all the things that I needed to do while I was eating. And then my meal would be done. And I'm like, but wait, I'm not satisfied. So then I would literally go and grab another meal or grab something sweet right away. And again, you're allowed to have something sweet after your meal. You're allowed to go get seconds. But because my days were so fast and my eating was so fast, it's like I didn't even have time to like process or check in. Like, am I full? Am I satisfied? Like, I didn't even have time. Right? I'm like, I have no time to enjoy my meal. I'm like, not even satisfied. And then I'd be done my meal and I'm like, but wait, I wish I enjoyed it more. So slowing down really helped me, like actually making eating an experience versus something that you have to check off your to-do list. Like that's important. Something else. I faced my fears. I reached this point where I don't know why. Don't ask me why. Why? I know why. But I wanted to be spontaneous and I wanted to go to the bakery. Like I wanted to be able to have the freedom to go to a cafe, to go to a bakery and get something and enjoy it. Like I've always wanted to do that because that was never possible for me. I was either restricting on some type of plan, so I was never able to do that, or I would binge on it. So even though it was like so scary and so terrifying because I never allowed myself to do this, I was like, I really want to be able to do this. Like, this is going to be fun. I want to be able to go out, like go to the bakery and just like grab something and eat it. Like, I really wanted that. But I had stories in my head, Lorna doesn't do this. Lorna doesn't do this during the week. I think it was like a Tuesday or something. I'm like, Lorna definitely doesn't do this during the week. Lorna doesn't normally go to the bakery by herself. Like if somebody asks her to go to the bakery, like she'll probably make an excuse or like not get anything or just like binge on the way back or like binge in secret. But like Lorna doesn't do this. normally I'll go with somebody, like just me, like if I go by myself, is the person working at the bakery going to think that I'm literally going to go home and binge? Like, are they judging me right now? Like, even walking out of the bakery, like leaving the bakery, I'm like, people are judging me. Like, even ordering, like, just so many things. So, but I remember having this feeling of like, it would be so nice to just like go to the bakery and just like grab something and be able to like enjoy it, right? But I actually let those fear thoughts consume me because I was like, people are going to judge me, like I'm so scared, all the things, right? So Andrew, I feel like we're like the same person at this point. Like, I feel like you can relate to everything. I love it. So I talked to my coach about this because I binged a few days after. And she was like, yeah, like you should have allowed yourself to have it. Because if you're not allowing yourself to have it, what's going to happen is like you're going to go home and you're going to try to make something or eat something that kind of tastes similar to what you wish you would have just had, but it's not the freaking same. It's not the same. So I'm like, okay, I'm on my healing journey. Remember, I am committed to doing what it takes to healing my relationship with food. Like I am so committed. So I ended up going with Andrew that weekend and I allowed myself to order what I wanted without stressing. And yes, I did feel a little bit guilty, but I was proud of myself. So the lesson here was like, I needed to stop looking at my past self and like what I used to do and compare my current self with my past self, because of course it's going to be different. When I was restricting, I would never, ever allow myself to just go and grab dessert. Like, are you kidding me? Like that was not even a thought. And then when I was binging, I would just binge on it, right? But I'm like, I am healing. I am working on healing my relationship with food. And I know that depriving myself of it is only going to lead me to binge on it. So I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to be courageous. And I'm going to go do this thing that, like, again, I'm going to shit my pants. Remember I said my healing journey, I like shat my pants a lot, but I had my coach obviously, and like all the things, and I did it. I stopped focusing on what I used to do. And I started focusing on how I wanted to eat. You guys know, I was done with the bullshit dieting. Like I was done with depriving myself. I was done with like obsessing over calories and tracking and weighing and all these things. Like I wanted to enjoy my food. So I was proud of myself. Something else that I did, like that was like a big deal for me. But something else that I did was I started to eat when I was hungry, even if no one else was hungry. How many of you guys have a hard time like eating if no one else is hungry? Is that just me? Like in the past, like I used to be so terrified. So yeah, the feeling of others judging is so strong, 1000%. So I had this like weird fear of like, if no one else is hungry, like I can't eat. Because like, are they going to think I'm a pig? Are they going to make a comment like, oh, Lorna's eating again? Or like, I didn't want to have to deal with like the triggering like comments, right? So I was like, it was so hard for me to eat when I was hungry. And it was hard for me to say like I wanted something to eat. So for those of you guys who don't know, when I was struggling with my relationship with food, well, I've shared this, but and I was dating Andrew, going to his parents' house and like asking for something to eat, like that was the most terrifying thing. Like I don't know why, but like I didn't want to say like, I'm hungry, can I eat something? Like I was so terrified. And we just started dating. Like I'm not going to go into the fridge and like help myself. Like now obviously I do and like whatever, but like we're just starting to date. And I'm like struggling with my own relationship with food. So even if I did open up the freaking fridge, there would be 9 million different things for me to choose from. And then I would be there for like 2 hours and they're going to be like, are you going to eat something? Like it was this whole shebang. So I was so terrified to ask for something to eat. And there would be so many times, you guys, I would be watching a movie with Andrew and I'd be irritable. And I'm like watching this movie, I'm not even paying attention. And I would literally be like rehearsing like what I was going to ask. Like in my head, I'm like, okay, 3, 2, 1, like go. And it's like, I couldn't even like say the words like I'm hungry or like, can I have a snack? Because I was so worried of people judging me or like, of course they wouldn't judge me. Like if I'm hungry, like of course, just eat. Like, of course, the mom was like, do you want anything? Like, of course, right? This was all internal. And I was watching this movie and I was rehearsing, like, okay, like maybe I should say it like this, right? like, okay, 3, 2, okay, maybe now stand up and maybe go to the bathroom. And then when you come back, you'll be closer to the fridge versus like just getting up from the couch and then going straight to the fridge. So they're gonna be like, where are you going? Like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm gonna just make up all these things, right? So like, this is my life. So I told Andrew to help me out. I'm like, buddy, you know that I'm struggling right now. Like, you need to help me. So I asked him, well, he actually came up with this. He was like, would it be helpful if I started asking you like more frequently, like, are you hungry? Or like, hey, I'm going to grab something. Do you want something as well too? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be so much easier because I would literally just be like, yes, like I want something versus me having to ask like, hey, can I eat something? If he was like, hey, I'm grabbing a snack, do you want something? I don't know why I felt more comfortable just saying yes, because like knowing he would be getting something, like this whole thing. So that helped, just like getting Andrew to ask me like if I was hungry, or like I said, he would grab a snack and then it would be so much easier for like me to eat the snack. And it was so much better because I wouldn't be like starving. Like before, I used to literally go to bed like so hungry because I was too scared to ask for something to eat. So I would literally just like go to bed hungry. So that really, really helped. And eventually, like it became so much easier for me to like ask for like when I was hungry and things like that. But this is a lot of like healing your relationship with food. It's like you do something once and you're like, oh my God, that was so scary. And then like you do something over and over again and you're just like, oh, like that was actually so much easier. But sometimes you need support in like the interim, right? And like even this was like my coach even like helped me with like these little things that I can do to help me get through my fears, right? So like that was one of the steps that I took. So I actually want to switch gears for a moment and I want to talk about working out and how like my workouts and things like that when I was like healing my relationship with food and binging. So I needed to change up my workout routine and focus less on like calories burned and like more on feeling good. So many of you guys know, like I used to over exercise. Honestly, like I felt so bad if I skipped a workout, like I'd feel so guilty. I was always focusing on like how many calories am I burning or like how many steps am I, walking and things like that. I personally never stopped working out, but I was more gentle with myself. So I don't believe you need to stop working out because again, this is my experience, my opinion. I believe that movement is so good for you, like for your mental health, like it's just so beneficial for you. Like our bodies were meant to move, but I think you have to change your relationship with exercise. So for me, like I started doing more yoga. I started to do more like walking, right? Versus like only weight training or like I don't know, forcing myself to like do certain things. I was really listening to my body and how I was feeling. So if I woke up tired, I would do like some stretching or I would go for a walk. If I had energy, then yeah, I'd do like a bomb ass workout. But I stopped focusing so much on like always changing my body. And I needed to focus on healing my body. So more workouts does not mean more healthy, right? And I recognize that. I'm like, just because I'm like doing more workouts, so that doesn't mean that's going to be healthy. In fact, like this is where a lot of hormonal problems come. Like I started having like so many, like again, digestive issues, like hormone issues because I was over exercising. So I started to be more kind to my body and I saw moving my body from like a place of self-love versus like punishment for what I was eating. I didn't track steps. I took off my watch. I don't know if you guys wear a watch or used to, like I threw out my watch. I stopped like tracking steps. I just focused on like moving my body. That felt really good for me. And that was like really helpful because I started to feel better. I started to have more energy because I wasn't over exercising. So I actually had capacity. I was being more kind to myself. And I think like that is something that's really important, is like changing your relationship with exercise. Okay. Something else that I want to mention here, because of all the over exercising, because of all the restriction, I developed a lot of like IBS issues, like bloating, like I said, adrenal issues, like hormonal issues. So at the time when I was trying to heal my relationship with food, I was also working with a functional medicine practitioner for my bloating. But I quickly realized that the protocols were too rigid for me to follow. And it wasn't a diet per se, like diet culture. Like obviously there's specific protocols you have to follow if you're struggling with like gut health or like hormonal problems and things like that. But for me, I couldn't do it because like I still felt super guilty about like eating certain foods, or like when my nutritionist or the functional medicine practitioner was like, oh, like be mindful of this food. I literally was like, okay, I labeled that food as bad. Right? I had a coach for 7 months, and these last 2 months without her have been tough, reverting back to old habits, and I'm getting more binge urges. I'm realizing it was because I never got rid of them. I was just managing them. Yeah, Rosie. And, you know, I'm going to talk about this tomorrow at the end. I'm going to talk about my program, Stop the Urge. I'm not going to talk about today because I want to deliver so much value, and same with tomorrow, but like I teach you literally how to get rid of your binge urges, because like you said, it's like you put in all this work for like 7 months, and then it's like you revert back to old habits because we haven't done things sustainably. If we haven't gotten rid of that urge to binge just by like distracting ourselves or staying busy or just managing it, like those urges are going to keep popping up, right? So I'll talk about that more tomorrow as well too. So anyways, I needed to focus on my relationship with food because no protocol was ever going to work if I was still binging. I couldn't follow the plan. No matter what plan they gave me, or like avoid these foods, I literally was like, okay, well, that's now a bad food and I can't have it. And then every time I had that food, I felt so guilty. So I literally was like, okay, again, I need to again, I'm stressing this out. I really needed to hone in and focus on my relationship with food. This doesn't mean you can't prioritize like other things, but like we have to do things in the right order. Now I can focus on my gut health. Like I have good gut health. I don't have extreme bloating anymore. Like I can do all these different things. But when I'm healing my relationship with food, this back in 2019 of January, like I couldn't be doing those things because it was restrictive. It was, this is now a bad food. This is a good food, right? So it's so important to do things in the right order. Okay. Something else that I really want to talk about as well too, just like very briefly, we're going to wrap things up. I just have like a few more things to say. I'm not going to dive too much into this because I really want to talk about how I stopped binge eating. But something that impacts binge eating is body image. So I needed to stop worrying about what other people thought. I needed to stop worrying about being the healthy one and the fit one in the friend group. And like, I'm a bodybuilder or I'm the fit one. Like I needed to really dedicate time to heal me. So much of my life, you guys, was being smaller. I need to do everything I can to be smaller so people can like me. I need to lose weight so I can be liked. I need to like myself. I need other people to like me. So I wasn't focused. When I was healing my relationship with food, I wasn't focusing on weight loss. This doesn't mean that I didn't care about the way that I looked. I cared about the way that I looked, and I wanted to feel good. I wanted to feel comfortable in my own skin. But again, a huge reason why I believe that I stopped binge eating, because I wasn't focusing only on weight loss. Every time I only focused on weight loss, I kept on binging. So for me, when I was healing, I stopped worrying about, like, again, I wasn't looking at the number on the scale. I wasn't tracking my food. I wasn't worrying about like, oh my God, what are other people going to think about me eating dessert? Or are they going to judge my body? Like I really focused on myself. The intention wasn't, I need the number on the scale to go down. The intention was like, I want to feel really, really good. And that played a huge role, you guys. I see it all the time, even with the clients that I work with. Like, you're allowed to have weight loss goals. Like, you're allowed to want to change your body. But if you are so concerned about the number on the scale and you're so concerned about, like, I need to lose the 20 pounds, it's like you can actually do that without focusing on it. Again, when you get rid of your binge urges, you don't binge anymore. It's like, the weight will take care of itself, but we have to do things in the right order. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about, and then we're going to wrap things up because we're almost on 2 hours here. How are we all doing? Is anyone still here? Oh yeah, we have like 19 people on. This is amazing. Now, the last thing, this actually should have been like one of the most important things that I talked about because this made a huge difference, was accountability and support. So when I joined a program and I was learning like these incredible tools of like how to stop binge eating, how to reprogram my brain, rewire my brain, I was also learning tools for when I felt the urge to binge that would help me to not give in. And these tools worked, like they worked. But sometimes when I learned tools, sometimes it was like, but I still want to binge. It was like a love-hate relationship. Anyone have a love-hate relationship with binging? It's like, I hate it, but I also kind of like it. And I don't know if I want to give it up. So what ended up happening was I connected with one of the other ladies in the program. And we were messaging back and forth. So each week we would commit to one tool that we learned for when we felt the urge to binge that will help us not give in. And we held each other accountable and we supported each other. And it made a huge difference. Like having my coach was obviously incredible because I learned all the tools. Like she was there to actually support us, right? But then connecting with somebody in the program and then learning the tools that we learned in the program, it was like we were like messaging each other. Okay, this is the tool that we're going to commit to this week. And then it made a massive difference because it was like this light bulb moment where she would use a tool. And then she was like, I'm so proud of myself. Like, thank God I didn't binge last night. I feel so free. Like I can actually work out in the morning. Like I feel so energetic. And then that inspired me to want to use the tool as well too, for the next time I felt that urge to binge. Because I'm like, ooh, like I want to feel that way as well too. Right. And then also like when I used one of the tools and then I didn't binge, like not only was I celebrating myself, I was celebrating with one of the other clients in the program that I was in. I was celebrating with my coach. Everyone else was celebrating me. And it was like, I wanted to do that more. Have you guys ever like gotten praise? Like, oh, go you, like you're amazing. And it's like, of course you want to do that more. So that was so huge for me. Like learning the tools, obviously, because they worked incredibly. But also like having accountability with it, because like we all know what to do, right? But like that's not going to change your life. It's the accountability, it's the support that actually changed my life, right? Because like I'm a very knowledgeable person. Like I knew a lot, even like you guys know, like I was a health and fitness coach. Like I knew a lot about like nutrition and like what to eat, but it wasn't even about that when it comes to stopping binge eating. So I learned the tools and then I, got support and I got accountability. I was celebrated every time I didn't give into the urge to binge. When I saw somebody else not giving in, like that inspired me. And like that really, really, really supported me. So that was like a game changer. How are we feeling? We're almost going on 2 hours. It's crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed day one. We're not done yet in terms of like day 2 is still tomorrow. But this is day 1. I feel like this is complete. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Like I wanted to share a lot. I still have so much to share with you guys tomorrow. So day 2 tomorrow, I'm going to share more about what I specifically did to stop binge eating, but like more specifically, like when I was in a program and like what really supported me. You're welcome, Amy. I'm so glad. Thank you for being here. And as a reminder, day 3 and day 4 is an upgrade. So today and tomorrow is all about how I stopped binge eating after 10 years. Day 3, if you guys want to know how I've been able to maintain a binge-free life, that's going to be day 3. And then day 4, you got to ask me any questions you guys want. And that upgrade is just $33. Like I just wanted to make it a no-brainer for you guys because this is also really important. So if you guys want to join the VIP, just make sure to either message me. I think I put the link here. I don't know if I did. I think I did, but you guys can, actually I'll put it here. You guys can join. It's literally just $33 for the upgrade. Again, you don't have to. If you're fine just doing today and tomorrow, amazing. But if you want to take it a step, like step up a notch and join day 3 for how I've maintained a binge-free life and then ask your personalized questions, you guys can join that. So I left the link there. Okay. Don't forget about the giveaway. Okay. Take a photo of me, screenshot, video, whatever, tag me on your Instagram or share one of my Instagram posts on your Instagram and you will be, eligible to win a $200 credit to use towards any of my programs, which is really exciting. Okay. So you're welcome, Michaela. Thank you, Katie, for being here. Lorraine, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed. There's so much more to come for tomorrow. So I hope to see you guys all back live with me tomorrow for more fun. Have the best freaking day ever. You're welcome, Julieta. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye, guys.